But what a wonderful conference this is, and what a wonderful opportunity this is for us to not only learn from each other, but to ask each other questions and to challenge each other. And so I encourage you to challenge me. I'm an educator, I'm a professor, but I'm also a marketer like you all are. And I've been in this marketing, Hispanic marketing area for 3 decades now. So today I'm going to show you 3 things that I think are important, and then some examples of some of the work that I've done. And the 3 things that I want to talk about are, and I want to show you my passion. I want to talk about the differences about Hispanics, Hispanic males. I want to talk about their shopper and also about their habits. So this is a kind of a happy moment here. Kind of relating to what they've talked about in the past. So my agenda is basically to get through this in 10 minutes, but then to be available as needed afterwards. The different cultural factors, the general market versus the Hispanic market. And we saw some of this in the last presentation, and that it was broken into bigger, smaller slices, but I think you can follow along with me and see the differences of looking as a non-Hispanic, the general market being the me focus versus the collective focus of Hispanics, the looking for the quality of life for the general market versus sacrificing things for your children, equality versus hierarchy, and on and on. So there are significant cultural differences, and I think it's important to address those early on. So when I sat down, I thought, what about the male Hispanic? Who are they? I made a list. I looked at role models, and I thought of boxers and politicians. You might have your own list. They may include baseball players. We heard yesterday a little bit about that. Educators, authors, celebrities. And then when I started thinking about the product list. So we did hear a lot from one product area, but there are many others. So I thought auto, beer, fast food, apparel, entertainment, and your company might be on this list. And of course, there's others. But who is the male Hispanic shopper? I think we all want to know that. That's why we're here today, as opposed to being at some of the other panels. So I just want to put that into a summary for you, if I can, that it's a favorite pastime. For them, shopping is fun. And interesting, because my husband sends me to the Home Depot. I had to buy a skill saw for him the other day, you know, so because I like to shop. So, I mean, I could be Hispanic, I think, you know. But it's a favorite pastime. They like doing this. They shop in larger groups, and it's a family event. So you'll see grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, kids. You'll see everybody going. Often it's on weekends. They shop more often, and for the grocery market, they are buying more groceries because they're in their stores more often, especially among first-generation Hispanics. So what does that mean to you as a retailer? It means they're buying more. They're buying more from you, hopefully. So looking again at kind of that male model, and this quote I thought was good. I got it from ESPN. I remember growing up with my dad and bonding over sports. It gave me something we could connect and talk about. And that's what we're getting at here. We're talking about making connections. So what are Hispanic fans like? Are they the same or are they different? Well, in many ways they're the same, but there were a few things that made them different. And that they watch television often as a family. And they are exposed to the American culture, of course, but they're connected through sports in many ways and through their fandom. Also, young men are watching and co-viewing with their family. And I think that that's a difference that's worthy pointing out. I have 2 male sons in that age group, and they tend to want to just play video games, as you guys would imagine. They're not necessarily watching the same shows as the parents are. So I think you're seeing the younger Hispanics watching more TV with their parents and even sometimes their grandparents. And then they're also doing something that's like, I'm watching the NFL, but I'm also watching soccer and boxing. So they're it's a hybrid model of sports. So I thought that was multiple screens, multiple activities going on at the same time. So we mentioned a little bit about digital and social media. I've noticed that there's even some social media tech startup groups going on out there. So the males are in technology are banding together. They're finding each other on the web, and they're doing their own shout outs, which I thought was an interesting way that they're approaching mobile and social media. Of course, they're on social media, Facebook, every radio station, all the major companies have a Facebook presence, and so many other media as well. So talking a little bit about apps, if you have an app, or if you're thinking about having an app for your company, these are some ideas that you might want to use. Some kind of a music download would be popular, or possibly even some kind of language service could work out well for you, some kind of something that helps them translate. So that could be good. So those are kind of my general comments. I want to now kind of focus on a few other things that I've done. And I had this from 30 years ago. I knew it would come in handy sometime. Went back to my archives and I found this. This is from True Value Hardware. We had our anchor man, Arturo Matamayor, on camera, and then in the point of purchase at True Value Hardware stores, talking about why their hardware stores were the place that Hispanics should shop. So thank you for letting me share this with you. I knew I'd use it sometime. It took me about 2 years of constantly calling this company to get them on television in Chicago. And once they were sold. It was True Value is a co-op. They're a little different than the Home Depot model, but it was an interesting experience. They're not really, I don't know how many years that went, because I'm no longer with that company. It was Univision 30 years ago. But for the initial 2 or 3 years that I was there, and that it was a very successful campaign. So they were very pleased with it.